All right, welcome to the Jeff Mayweather Radio Show. My name is Alexz Yzerman, as always, and I'm joined from his sprawling estate in Las Vegas, Jeff Mayweather. Jeff, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm okay.
Doing all right. Great to be here. We're going to have a couple of great guests on tonight. In just a moment, we're going to be joined by Lanardo Tyner, and then following that, a little later in the show, we're going to be joined by the Lady of Boxing, Ava Knight. She'll be stopping by to talk to us about her big victory over Barbie there in Mexico last week. So we're looking forward to that. First, though, we're going to be joined by the man I mentioned earlier, Lanardo Tyner, a fabulous boxer in his own right. Lanardo, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll get to you in just 1 second. I just first, we haven't been on the show since, unfortunately, last week, the great Emanuel Steward passed away. Jeff, I know we talked a little bit. We talked a little about Jeff with that. Jeff, we've done an interview and stuff, but, I'm glad to have you on here, Lanardo, because I know you're obviously as a member of the Kronk Gym, you were familiar with him as well. So, Jeff, let me start with you real quick for our listeners here that might not have heard your words and that kind of thing. Tell us a little about Emanuel and what he meant to you.
Well, for me, Emanuel's, he was a great inspiration. Of course, any trainer in this era, who had a chance to, see his accomplishments would at least want to, try to match it or at least come close to it. And Emanuel was just all-around great guy, and every time I talk to him, we would talk about boxing, we would talk about life in general, and he was just a nice man.
All right. And I also want to welcome, I'm sorry, I didn't get to introduce her, she just called in, Carla J is joining us, a Pro Boxing Insider contributor. Welcome from Houston, Carla. Welcome to the show.
Hey, you guys. How's it going, Jeff? How's it going, Alexz? Lanardo?
Pretty good. Hi, how's it going?
All right. And, Jeff, before we get to Lanardo, the last thing I wanted to ask him, the one thing that was kind of neat is that you did get to square off with him once when you had Sultan Ibragimov going up against Klitschko. Explain how that was, getting up to go up against, such a legendary trainer like that. You're up and coming, trying to make your mark as a trainer. What was that fight like? And were you a little bit intimidated, staring across the ring at that guy?
No, I wasn't intimidated at all. If anything, I wanted to win more than anything. And to be honest, I thought I had the guy that could win, but we went into the fight with an injury, and obviously, it leaked out of our camp, and because of the way the fight was fought, we know that Klitschko knew what the injury was, but still, it was like, it was like surreal being able to, come out of the corner against Emanuel Steward. That's something that, of course, every trainer, that's their aspiration, is to get to the highest level, and I felt that, on that night that I had arrived, and so it was a situation, it was a great situation. Even before the fight, we talked, and after the fight, we talked as well, and, and he just told me to stick with it and that, I'll be a great trainer one day.
Hey, Lanardo, let's bring you in here. Obviously you worked, you trained at Kronk Gym. What was he like in the gym?
Well, Emanuel, man, he was just a great person, man. He just, from the biggest to the smallest guy in there, like the amateurs, he really loved his amateurs. But Emanuel, man, we hurting. We really hurting. Everybody in the gym, we hurting real bad about Emanuel's loss, about losing Emanuel. It's no words that I can explain really about Emanuel, what he did for all of us. And just, guys, we come there for him. To come to the gym, we come for him and Tommy and Milton and all those. But Emanuel, man, it's like when he come in, everybody, we willing to look. He'll give a little kid pad work. He's just a great guy. And, man, everybody in Detroit, man, we is devastated by this, man. It hurts. It really hurts. It hurts bad, man.
And what was the dynamic like there in the Kronk Gym, just in general? It's such a legendary place for those of us that never got to go and visit the gym. So many great guys passed in and out of the gym. Just what was the atmosphere like there?
Well, in the first gym, the one on McGraw, it was, man, it was wars every day. It's like if you get off one day on somebody, you got to prepare for the next day because he coming back and he gonna win. And just sitting on the outside looking in, and then you got to get in next to somebody. It's do or die. You got to go to war. And the newer gym was trying to build itself up to that, with the new guys coming out, but it would never be like the old gym.
Yeah. Jeff, did you ever get a chance to, I know you've been out here in Vegas for so long, but have you ever spent any time there in the Kronk Gym? Either one of them?
Nope, never.
No. Short and sweet, huh? So hey,
Lanardo,
his brother
I
used
have
to
a
be
question
there.
for you. Go ahead.
You hear me? Floyd Sr. used to come down there and spar. And then Roger, they used to come down there to the old Kronk Gym. And soon they walk in, everybody be like, fresh meat. And them boys walk their way out of there.
Well, so they just let the talented Mayweathers in there. They left Jeff at home, right? Is that what it was?
Hey, Lanardo, I know, I understand that there's a rumor that Tommy Hearns is thinking of, or there's talks that Tommy Hearns might take over the reins of Kronk Gym. Are you aware if there's any truth to that? Because, obviously there was some huge shoes to fill, and I'm just surprised that that's a rumor going around this quickly. What do you think, if there is truth to it, that would have for the future of Kronk Gym?
Well, if Tommy do take over, I think he's been talking to us about, because he's been coming to the gym like every day. Tommy still comes to the gym every day and talk to everybody and shadow box, hit the bag. So to me, it's a lot of truth to it. I've been here in New Mexico now, so I ain't talked to him personally. But if they saying that he will say something like that because he be there every day anyway. So, and most of the guys, we admire him and Emanuel. That's the reason why I went to Kronk and started training there, just because of those guys. So to me, Tommy will take over, and it'll be strong because everybody loves him too, just like we love Emanuel.
Well, yeah, I think he's certainly the one guy that everybody would certainly accept as taking over. The one thing I have to wonder is, if finance being an issue. I know Tommy unfortunately had some financial issues in the last couple of years, so hopefully they get either he's got himself squared away or they got some strong backing to go behind there because it's the Kronk Gym it's such an institution, in boxing it'd be a shame if anything happened to it and it couldn't go on.
Well, Tommy might be broke far as rich broke, but not far as regular broke. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody like me, he ain't broke like me. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got what he had, but he's still nice. He's still driving nice, living nice, and dressing nice. So he still got money, but he ain't got the money that he made. But he still ain't broke like a guy like me broke.
Hey, Jeff, before we move on, last question I have. You said you haven't been to Kronk, but obviously everybody knew the talent that went in and out of there. It's kind of the same at the Mayweather Gym. We've talked about this before, a little bit. But what's the dynamic and the difference as far as preparing fighters in somewhere like a Kronk Gym or Mayweather, where there's so many other talented fighters in and out of there, as opposed to maybe another gym that's not so big and you're training the one guy, but he's kind of the big fish in the small pond.
Yeah, for me.
No, it's for Jeff. Is he sleeping, or is American Idol on?
Oh. No, don't get me wrong. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure for, especially for young up-and-coming fighters, because basically, once Floyd face show up in the gym, it becomes a war. I don't care who's fighting. I don't care if it's two little kids. I don't care if it's, it's two senior citizens. They all going to go to war because the fact is that once they see Floyd's face, they want to impress him. And being that they want to impress him, it's no longer boxing. It's almost like a real fight. And so I'm sure, Kronk is probably the same because, I'm sure everyone wanted to, want to impress Emanuel or maybe like Lanardo said, maybe even Tommy. It's just the fact of, Tommy being a great fighter and and still just being able to rub elbows with these guys, you know, it's a big deal.
Right.
I mean, 'cause maybe when you get out the ring, maybe for to speak to you and maybe say, hey, you know, you got a good future. I mean, just, you know, anything that, you know, that comes from him is a big deal. So, I mean, they go to war. I mean, they have one ring. They call it the doghouse. And once two people get in there and if Floyd's in the gym, everybody crowds around that ring. And they make those guys, I mean, go to war. I mean, and not only that, they usually have to go maybe 4 or 5 minute rounds because, you know, basically it's like do or die in there. I mean, you can't quit. You know, if you quit, I mean, you're going to be talked about in the gym for like, you know, maybe for a week, you know, and then you got to go back in there and try to reprove yourself.
Yeah. What about you, Lanardo? Do you have any kind of the same experiences over there at Kronk then?
Well, you said do I have any kind of what kind of experience?
Hey, similar type things. I mean, when you crawl in there to spar, you feel like it's a lot more pressure there. You got to put on a show and look good in front of everybody.
Oh yeah. I know exactly what Jeff's saying. It's like if you in there and then you see all the champions. The champions, all the old champions, they come in Kronk still. They come walk around. So it's like everybody wants to show what they got, and then nobody have no quit in them. And if you quit, oh my God, they're gonna talk about you. And it's like, but you got tomorrow to bring your A game again tomorrow. So it's like if white guys come in there, if they may like Mickey Goodwin, they talked about him, but once he came in, he just tore their ass up, and now he's one of the big names there, like Andy Lee. He had to earn his way in there, and he did. You know, you had to beat some ass. You know what I'm saying? Once you do that, you in, and now you're going to be talking about the new people come in. It's just like that. I had to earn my way. You know, Manuel used to call me Mr. Excitement every time, you know, and he said I minded my Aaron Pryor. So I came in off of that, and I just had to hold on to that name, and I ran with it.
Well, hey, let's kind of get to the current state of things right now. But first, before we get there, actually, I want to vent here because since we got Carla's from Houston, that doesn't really matter because they don't really have any competitive sports teams there. But you got 3 Michigan guys here. I see on your Facebook there, Lanardo, you're kind of as pissed off as I am. It's been a rough couple of weeks here in Detroit sports, huh?
Yeah, man. We back. I mean, it's a back into the depression again. We was all right for a minute, but we back in depression. You know, Manuel gone, Tigers lost, Lions playing around or whatever, messed up, Pistons ain't good. Man, we sick right now.
Yeah, you know, we don't even have the Red Wings to look forward to. They're striking, and yeah, it's you know, it was unfortunate for the Tigers. I thought if you'd have told me before that series someone was going to sweep, I thought it'd been the Tigers for sure. You know, going in hot and fresh, and they didn't even show up, and then the Lions are kind of doing the same thing, kind of playing when they want to. So
right, and we tired of like, you know, it's like they teasing us. Every year we come in. It's like, yeah, it's a new year, baby. Yeah, we're going to be out. And it always boils down to the same thing.
All right.
So, you know, but we still going to roll with them, though. We ain't got no choice.
Right. All right, well, let's catch up with what you're doing now. First of all, it's a little confusing. You apparently have a fight on November 1st, but who are you fighting, or do you know yet?
Well, I was supposed to be defending my title, but, you know, I guess these guys, with these good records, they be scared to fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm the matchmaker's dream. I fight anybody, no matter where they at, and on week notices, you know. But these guys are not got to fight this guy. You know, everybody should know him. Montez Logan, he got so many fights and so many losses. So it's a no-win situation for me. But I got to fight him, but he the only brave guy to take the fight, and I applaud him for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why did you have such a quick turnaround? I mean, you just fought on October 12th. So what was this, 3-week break for?
Well, I'm trying to stay in the gym because they always catching me slipping. You know, I always be out the gym, and then they call me, and then I try to get it all back within that week, and I just come up short. So the first time I finally put myself in the gym before somebody called me, and then they called me with a 2-week notice fight, and I was ready. and I won the title. So now I can't stay out the gym. I want to fight every time. I want to keep the old four running, you know.
Yeah, well, definitely congratulations on winning the title there. You know, the first time I got to see you fight in person was actually last year when you fought Jesse Vargas. Unfortunately, you lost that decision. But the one thing I came away from that fight, you know, I do think Jesse won, but that was the closest wide decision I think I've ever seen. I mean, you guys were going to war out there. I mean, you guys, you brought the best out of Jesse because Jesse has a tendency to sometimes lay some eggs and you know, take it a little easy in the ring. But you were killing it there. You guys would put on the show. And what do you think of that performance? And, you know, did you agree with the decision? Like I said, I thought he won the decision, but, man, it was the closest, you know, wide decision I'd ever seen.
Right. I figured he wanted a fight, but if I would have had longer than a week to get ready for that fight, Jesse, I'd have got him. But Jesse, a good up-and-coming fighter. I can't take nothing from him. He stood in there tough. He fought me. But I just couldn't. If I had a little bit more in me, been in shape a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, I would have got him. All these losses I got has really been off those weak notice fights. You know, even with Saul Alvarez, when I fought him, they called me within a week. And I took him. I gave him his hardest fight that he had today. You know, but all I have to do is just stay in the gym, man. If I stay in the gym, it's going to have a lot of problems for these guys.
Well, I want to ask you this, and then I'll follow up with Jeff's thoughts on it. Do you think, you know, looking back, that perhaps taking some of these fights on such short notice have, you know, hurt your career in the long run?
I mean, yeah, it hurt it, but I came out like I won to people in people's mind because I gave a good show and they seen me coming. I gave these guys problems. So I really, with the loss, I kind of won. My name wouldn't be out here if I wouldn't have took those fights. If I'd have been scary like the rest of these fighters and be like, no, I ain't got enough time and no, his record too good and all that, y'all wouldn't know me now. So I feel that it helped me out. I still got time to revive my career, and I've been doing that lately, so y'all still going to see me.
So, Jeff, what are your thoughts on the fighters taking short notice fights? I mean, if you're training a guy, is it something that you're all for, or is it something that, you know, depending on obviously where they're at in their career, and if they're on the way up, way down, or whatever, depends on whether or not you recommend they take a fight on short notice?
I mean, well, basically, I mean, it's, you know, it's the risk and what the reward is. You know, I mean, of course, I won't have a guy take a fight on short notice. If the fight really doesn't mean anything. But also, if you have a good fighter that just happens to have a bad record, it doesn't necessarily mean that fighter actually has, you know, doesn't still have potential to even become world champion. I mean, look at Freddie Pendleton. Freddie Pendleton's record was, you know, 500 when he won the world championship. You know,
right.
He got great wins. I mean, he beat my brother. You know, he was my brother's sparring partner, so my brother slept on him. My brother thought that he was going to do to him what he did to him in sparring all the time, and ended up getting knocked out by him. And Freddie went on to become world champion and defended it a few times and beat a lot of good fighters. So it's one of those situations in which you got to know the character of the fighter. You got to know what's in that fighter's heart to actually honestly be able to say yes or no.
Well, yeah, I mean, like both of you said, I mean, you know, I came away from that fight, you know, being really impressed with you, Lanardo. You know, taking the fight on short notice, you definitely put on a great show, and it was definitely entertaining. Let me ask you this though: so you captured your title there, and you defended it, but before that, you had a 4-fight losing streak. You know, how did you end up turning that around? What difference did you make, or was it just kind of the 4 losses were kind of a fluke?
Well, what made it turn around was that I listened to my gym mates and other trainers in the gym. They were like, man, give yourself a chance to win. Just stay your butt in the gym. Give yourself a chance to win. You know, you're fighting these guys and you're fighting them hard. They're paying you good money, but you got to give yourself a chance to win. So what I did was I went to the gym and I was training already. When they called me for that last title fight, and they called me on a 2-week notice, I already had 3 weeks in or 2 weeks in working out twice a day. So I took it. I took that fight and took a short little money on it just for the opportunity because I knew I was ready. And from then, it's like once I pulled that fight off, my mind popped into a way like, man, this is all you had to do all the time. So it's like now you can't even get me out the gym now. It's like my mind is blown now. It's like that's all I had to do in the beginning, but I took all these losses where all I had to do is just stay my ass in the gym, man. And everybody been telling me that. It's like, man, give yourself a chance. You know, you can't teach the game. You cannot teach this game at all. And I learned that.
So now you're getting back in the back end of your career. During the 4-loss streak, was there ever a point where you thought, maybe I'm done, maybe I'm through, or was it just something that you knew was a mental thing and not going to gym enough and something that you could work through?
Well, with my thing is I turned pro at 29. So I'm just getting started. I don't feel old at all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no big amateur career. I turned pro at 29, and none of these guys, I came in as a man. Boxing didn't teach me how to fight. I've been a man. I got the heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, boxing ain't teach me how to fight and have a heart for this sport. Really, I got too much heart for this sport. So these guys who really been fighting since they kids, they was forced to fight like their mom or their dad told them they got to go do something, go learn karate, go learn boxing. Me, I came in as a man. So none of these guys can do shit to me that never happened to me in Detroit anyway. So really, I'm talking these guys out because they just made the fight. I walked in as a grown man. So you can't talk me because I'm a grown-ass man from the jump. I came in and grown. These other guys were forced in basically as kids.
So you didn't have to absorb the punishment, at your age. I guess you're relatively young then, because not having taken the abuse that many people have who've been boxing since they were in their teens and that kind of thing. So having said that, and not having been through as many wars as other people your age, how long do you think that you have as a boxer, and how long if it's up to you that you'll be able to continue in the sport?
To me, man, I got at least 5 more years. I mean, that's what I see so far. I know I'm feeling good. I feel rejuvenated. I don't get beat up. I don't be getting cut, knocked out or nothing, knocked down or nothing. So I'm feeling real good, and my career rejuvenated. Shit, I never felt that I was an 8-loss fighter anyway. I've been in with the biggest punchers, the best guys, all undefeated guys. My last 5 opponents, not including the win, guys was 98 and 0 or 92 and 0. So none of these guys can bring to me that's going to change my attitude. I think I got 5 years, and that's just the least. You know what I'm saying? I just started this shit. I just started, man.
Yeah, look at that 90-0 were your last opponents. That's pretty impressive. You certainly weren't getting any cupcake fights there.
Right.
Hey, Carl, I know you've been trying to get in there a little bit. I know you have some questions for Lanardo. What do you got for him?
You know what? I want to ask him, because since we're on the subject of longevity and training and staying in the gym, I want to ask a little bit about get a rundown of what your training regimen consists of, because I'm looking at those abs, and they are bananas.
No, that was my picture, Carla. I'm sorry. You're looking at the wrong one.
That was your picture? Oh, damn.
Well, what I do is, most of that came from my dad anyway. I was born with it. I just helped it out, just working, running and doing my sit-ups. I never leave without doing my sit-ups. If I ain't going to run or do something, I'm going to do my sit-ups regardless, because that's the best attribute I think I got, so I got to keep those going, so just running and working hard.
Okay, so you guys were talking about, the short notice fights and things like that earlier. How important is it for you to know, your opponent? And especially now, in the gym regularly, and so forth. Does it even matter if you feel like you're prepared and you're in the gym, or is it still important for you to know your opponent?
I mean, it's important. It's important, but if you're in the gym training, it's like you see different styles anyway. I mean, you got different spar partners come in. So basically, it's like now I'm in the red corner. I was supposed to defend my title. I ain't know who the hell I was fighting until today. So, you know, it's basically I'm in the same boat, but just I'm in shape now.
Mhm. One of the things that I noticed, you mentioned that you recently made weight for the weigh-in, you made weight comfortably and easy. I recently had the opportunity to interview Frank Tate. You probably know him. You're probably familiar with him from Houston, Hank's Gym. And he basically said that when a fighter is at his weight and comfortable without doing all the cutting and all that extra, he's usually in a better position to show up and show out. With that said, how are you feeling for your upcoming fight in Dallas?
Well, I'm feeling, man. I was expecting to defend my title, so I was going to be in the best shape I could be in anyway, just to be able to keep it, because I know they hungry just like I was. But I took the advantage of coming down here with Austin Trout to get him ready for his fight. So I'm here training hard anyway, so I just basically took advantage of that to get ready for my fight. So I'm feeling like I'm in the best shape of my life actually right now.
Now, let's talk about that a little more. You sparring with Austin Trout. Now, you know, are you guys going hard? Like, are you guys just, you know, how intense are those trainings, or how intense are you guys getting in the gym out there in New Mexico?
Well, you know, we're in that elevation. We're like 4,000 feet up right now until we go to the other count. That's like 8,000 feet. But I have a fight coming right up, so I'm going hard. So it's on him not to go hard because I'm going hard. And, you know, I'm fighting, so we fighting. We actually fighting there. He's ready. He's going to be ready, you know what I'm saying, because we actually in here fighting. That's just my style, and I'm in shape now, too. Just came off a fight. So, you know, I got to prove my point. I'm fighting. I'm going in there. I'm fighting hard. I'm sparring hard and going hard. My fight was coming up, so, and he can't help but fight. So we in there scrapping, for sure.
Hey, Jeff, just to add on that, Jeff, just, how do you like to handle fighters with sparring in the time up before they're fighting? I'm interested in seeing how that compares with the way that Lanardo does his.
Well, I mean, myself, I believe in, you know, especially if you got guys that, you have two fighters that are in the same weight, I believe in going hard. I believe in if you're the better fighter, show that person you're the better fighter, you know. And so I believe in going hard. You know, don't get me wrong, there's times in which, of course, you monitor the training. Once you pretty much establish who's the better fighter, then you can have it more kind of, type of sparring where it's not, it's about trying to kill each other. But, when you first bring somebody to your camp, just because you're the champion don't mean nothing. You got to prove that you're the champion. You got to show everybody that you're the champion.
Exactly.
And so basically what you do is you go hard, It's just like if you ever come down to Floyd's camp, you'll see what Floyd does to his sparring partners. You beat him up, You beat him up, and then once he beat him up, and then he takes it easy on him because he just let them know, I'm the boss, and I'm the better fighter. So, and once he establishes that, then it's totally different because now it's not about trying to send a message. It's just, now it's work.
Right.
But this is, as far as how you both, do you handle, like, as far as contact, at what point do you quit sparring, before a fight?
Well, I stopped, say, my last day of sparring was Sunday. So but I usually, if the fight is on a Friday or a Saturday, I stop Wednesday or something light. You know what I'm saying? Something light just to stay sharp, just to do something. Do a light little 4 or 6 rounds or whatever. Depends.
Are you guys ever worried about, getting cut so close to fight time?
No, I'll be. If you start thinking of that stuff will start happening. Just go as normal, It's just fight. I don't think about stuff like that. When you get close to the fight, because I be knowing I'm straight, I'm ready. And most of the time, it'd be a short notice fight anyway, and I need to get the weight off, and I need to box anyway. So that's what it just goes that way.
So run us down here, Lanardo. What's the dream scenario? For the rest of your career. If it works out the way you want to, what does the future hold?
Well, I'm gonna make sure. I was wondering why guys be fighters and then turn to trainers. It's like you can't leave this game. It's so fun. It's like, to me, I'm gonna be a trainer, man. Too. I'm gonna be in boxing. I'm finna build a gym myself. So I'm gonna be in the boxing. You can't help it. You can't help but stay around it. I was wondering why guys do that. Like, I get away from the gym, but really you can't, man. You got to give back to the kids. You got to look out for the youth that's coming up, that's in it. You see the light in their eyes when they see a champion walk in the door. So you can't help but stay in the game and help guys out.
Well, what about inside the ring? I mean, what else do you want to accomplish? Or any dream opponents you want to get there before it's all over?
Shit, I got that WBC, so I still be ranked 15th in there. I'm hoping I can get in with Florida if I get a chance. Shit, I want to talk good with him. I hope he be my boy, anybody, anything. Talk about it any kind of way. I want the big names. If I didn't fought the big name fighters, but if I can get the big names, hey, Floyd Sr. trained me for a while too. I was down there in Vegas too. He was training me for a while. I might use that to get in the door. If I can get in the ring with Floyd if I can. Shit. Anything I could do to get in with the best. And Floyd Mayweather is the Jordan of boxing. Flat out. Jordan is the best basketball player. Floyd is the best fighter, man. And that's another fighter telling you that. And, he like the Jordan of boxing, man. Real talk.
So Jeff, just in case you weren't listening there, basically what I got out of that, he's calling out Floyd and saying he's a punk and then he's going to knock him out. So what do you have to say about that, Jeff?
I was going to say the same thing. He's going to call him out in front of his uncle.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
He's talking that trash right in front of you, Jeff. How disrespectful can that be? Wow.
It'd be good if you get the opportunity.
Right. I need the opportunity. That's what I need. And then Floyd Sr., I'm training with Floyd Sr., so I might tell Floyd, man, respect your daddy. Boy, I'm going to do it for you.
That's good.
How was the training with Floyd? Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, Floyd, man, that's either, man. Floyd, I see why Junior is like he is, though, because, man, Floyd Sr., man, had me out there running Charleston, man. He out there in his car following me. Soon you slow down a little bit, he blowing that horn, damn near running your ass over. I mean, he's a beast when it comes. He wants you to train. He don't want to be embarrassed. That's his problem. He don't want you to embarrass him.
Jeff, I don't think you participate in any of that road work with your guys, do you?
Yeah, I run with Celestino.
You run with Celestino?
Yeah.
Wait.
While he driving,
by running, you mean driving your car, right?
He drives the car behind Celestino.
I don't drive no car. I run. I run right beside him.
Get it, Grip.
At least the first 100 yards, I guess.
No. Celestino runs 6 laps. I run 3 laps. I ain't gonna run that much because I don't need to. You can train, not me.
So Jeff, just tell us a little about Lanardo as far as your thoughts on him as a fighter, and basically from what you've seen, what you think of him.
I mean, I only saw a fight with Jesse. That's the only fight I ever seen yet. So, and in that fight, he showed a great account of himself. He made Jesse look ordinary. And I mean, and so basically, he didn't make Jesse look like he was a hot prospect or anything. He made him look like he was just a guy that could fight a little bit. Because I mean, he had great moments in the fight himself. And so basically, he looks like he's a guy that can be a spoiler.
Right. So Lanardo, how frustrating is that? someone like Jesse, you're brought in. Let's face it, you're brought in to lose to Jesse. That was your purpose, at least by the promoters. Obviously, not what you're thinking. How tough is that to kind of change the mindset of the people and the powers that be or whatever, and say to convince them that hey, you're not just an opponent. You're the guy that that they need to be worried about.
Well, by me being a little guy anyway, I grew up beating up bullies. So it's like, I'll be looking at it like, shit, while you going to school, you getting dropped off in the bins, I got to walk in the cold to get to school. I look at them guys like that, like they've been babies. And I'm just a hood guy who's trying to get in, and I got to punk you, take your wallet, push your ass down, whatever I got to do. So that's how I look at it. Like, y'all guys got these millionaires behind y'all, and I'm just a guy from Detroit. Detroit street guy with no manager, with no promoter, and I appreciate the matchmakers and the commission for giving me the chance that they do give me, coming off losses. They know I'm coming to fight, and I'm coming to put these little rich punks in their place, flat out.
Well, so just as we finish up here, just explain the difference of training in Detroit. Now you're out in New Mexico, and you've been out in Houston. What are the differences of where you've lived? I mean, trained.
Well, here it's more, here a champion, but it ain't enough good work out here. You know what I'm saying? That's why they had to bring somebody like me in and Danielle Livingston. I've been boxing both of them guys, so it's like it's a lot of work in Detroit. Everybody fights for the same goddamn penny. You know what I'm saying? We is fighting to make our name and get ready to do our thing, hold the Kronk name down. So we basically got the crab in the bucket syndrome.
All right. Well, Carla, did you have any other questions? I think you did right.
No, I want to ask him, ask Lanardo about, he said he has 5 more years in the ring, and what about after those 5 years? If you feel like, I'm in shape, I'm going to stand in the gym, and I want to go on for, another, 42, 3, 44, maybe 4 or 5 more years. Do you feel like that's something that you'd be interested in? Pull a Bernard Hopkins?
I mean, I see why Bernard still was in there. He did time, so, his body stayed right in jail. He ain't out here doing too much of that. But I started at 29, so, I still got years to go. I'm feeling good. Hopefully I can get a world title and get enough money for my family and be straight. But right now, the way I feel, I don't see no end close by because I'm feeling real good. I'm feeling great. Yeah, I feel like I'm 23. I'm just one of those, I'm one of those old cars that you only bring out on the weekends. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. Shit.
You know what it sounds like to me? Sounds like you got some good weed.
Did you just say something about weed again, Jeff?
What did he say?
He's obsessed. Jeff has found the joys of pot apparently last few weeks. Last week he was trying to get Derek Gainer to smoke pot with him, and I think he just invited you too. So.
Yeah, and weed do keep you going longer, no?
I told you. I know it. I told you. I know it.
Hey, weed do make you go longer.
You like Emanuel Steward.
See, you're calling out Floyd. Now he's going to try to get you stoned right before your fight so you fail a drug test or something.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Jeff's getting the Doritos right now, I think, as we speak.
Right. And they got some good ones down there in Jeff in Vegas.
I never had no weed in my life.
They got the best ones down there on Jeff in Vegas.
They got the good weed.
Oh man, that's great.
I just know, when the brother starts talking like that, he starts feeling so good. It has to be more than just that. It got to be something.
Good well, I ain't smoking nothing, baby.
He sound like Emanuel Augustus. Emanuel Augustus get high right before he go in the ring.
Damn, I ain't know that. Yeah, I know he felt the tongue, so.
He failed the test a whole bunch of times.
Well, I'm high on life, man. I'm feeling good. Boxing, man, was the best thing that ever happened to me, man. I'm having fun doing this. It's like you be in training. It's like you be in school, going to math, English class. But when it's fight night, it's like you going to gym. You know, it's like it's PE time. Like I'm going to gym 7 hours. You know, I've got to go to gym 7 hours. That's what I look forward to. Everybody had a fun training me during that time. But when it's fight night, it's my time to have fun. You know, and I enjoy it.
So, you know, I kind of know where you came from, Lanardo. I grew up in the mean streets of West Bloomfield.
Oh my God.
Bloomfield. Hey, why are you laughing? So anyway, you know, you started boxing late, but did you have any difficulties in Detroit, you know, as far as keeping straight, or did you have your problems growing up? And how did boxing change you as a person, if at all?
Well, as far as coming up in Detroit, you know, you had your little gangs. I never was in a gang, but I used to sell drugs and stuff, you know. And then once I found boxing, I didn't have time to do that. It was like that was something fun for me. And then I started doing that, and then it was just, man, it was like I was supposed to do this. And it just came so natural where I had time to do nothing but to train, you know, and all my friends that I used to hang out with to sell drugs, they were so happy for me. They was like they was my trainers now. They're like, man, you going to the gym, man? Come on, man. You know, they were so happy for me. They helped me go to the gym. You know, so they didn't try to tempt me to stay doing the bad things. It's like they all was working with me for me to go to the gym every day.
That's cool. Well, you know, you've really been an inspiration as far as what you've been able to do. You know, that, like I said, coming off the 4 losses in a row and coming back and capturing a title and defending it, and you know, it's really great what you've been able to do. And you know, we look forward to, you know, another 5 years or so, however long you want to go, of continued success. Just as far as like social media and that kind of thing, are you heavy into that, and where can the folks keep up with you?
Well, you know, Facebook, I just found Facebook. I'm gone off Facebook. I don't even got a Twitter account. I'm just learning Facebook, and I just be having my fun on there, man. That's all I need is Facebook.
All right, so the folks can look you up there, Lanardo Tyner on there. And, you know, as far as anyone else, any shout-outs or anything you want to say to the folks listening?
Well, I want to get a shout-out to all the guys who think they too old for this game. They always say a young man's game, but the people who say that is somebody who ain't did it. You know, you ain't never too old, man, to do nothing. And you know what I'm saying? I want to shout out to Jeff. Jeff, he a good guy. I talked to him a couple of times on Facebook. And I think his brother, them guys right there holding it down for boxing, man. I look up to y'all guys, man. Appreciate you, Jeff. This the words of encouragement that you be saying. I look at your posts, you know, Floyd Jr., you know what I'm saying? I'm friends with him, and I talked to him. I met him one day with Floyd Sr., and he was a nice guy to me. And it's just, man, I'm loving every bit of this, man, this life, this boxing life. I've been all over the world, man, for free.
It's too late to try to kiss up to Jeff now.
That's true, though. Look, what the last part you said is true. You've been all over the world for free. That's the best part of boxing. Because, seriously, that's the best part of boxing, because you have a life experience that you never you could have imagined in your life that would happen. But you know, myself, I've seen pretty much everywhere. You know, only place I haven't.
So that includes North Dakota for you, Jeff?
London. Huh?
That includes North Dakota for you? Is it one of your great experiences?
No, that ain't out the country. I'm talking about places out the country. I don't count the United States.
Right, out the country. And I'm lucky to still have my pass. Just have a passport. So many guys ain't even got a passport. They can't even leave the country. So I'm lucky I don't got no felonies, never been in trouble, and I can leave the country. So that's a good thing for me to do. I'm glad.
Carl, you have anything else for the hour before we go? You any more questions?
You know what? No, I really enjoyed this. I just like I like Lanardo's energy and how he gets, fired up, regarding the sport of boxing, because it's so many politics behind it, so many, people that won't even take a fight because of it's not enough commas behind the zeros and, all of that, and he's willing to jump in there. He's humble. He stays in the gym, definitely emulates the saying, he stays ready so he doesn't have to get ready. So I appreciate the interview, and he's truly a warrior. I can't wait to see what your future has to hold. I really appreciate you taking the time out to speak with us.
Thank you. And you sound beautiful. No. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me, though. I appreciate you.
And you too. To echo on what you said, a true throwback. Too many people now don't want to fight. They're always having excuses not to fight, and it's great to have people like you that, are willing to fight on a moment's notice against whoever. It doesn't matter. You just want to get their fight, and that's what the boxing fans need and like to see it, and they really appreciate it. So, we really appreciate your time, Lanardo, and best of luck on the first there, and look forward to having you back on the show in the near future.
Yes, anytime. I appreciate you guys. Y'all giving me a voice out here for people who don't know me, and I appreciate that, man, because I'm trying. I'm fighting whoever I can just to make it out here, I don't need money like that now, but it's boxing is fun, man. I love it. I love it.
All right, well, Nara, we thank you, and again, best of luck to you, and we'd love to have you back on after one of your title defenses in the near future. And
all right.
And Jeff, I'll let you. It's our new thing. Jeff's gonna go ahead and excuse you from the show.
Huh? And I'm coming from Floyd, Jeff. Okay. You ready?
Jeff, you got to go ahead and...
I'm ready to ride off in the Bentley, baby. Okay. You ready?
Go ahead, Jeff. And
okay.
We're ready for the exit. Go ahead and let him go.
All right. All right, take care, guys. Okay.
All right, Lanardo, thanks a lot. Take care, champ.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, so that was Lanardo Tyner. Appreciate him. Great guy, great guest to have on. That was really good of him. Carla, go ahead and talk to Jeff for just 1 second. I think we have Ava on the line, so hold on 1 second.
Okay. Jeff, where did that come from? That is,
what?
You have to do that all the time. Bye.
What? Bye? Hey, I mean, he caught me off guard the first time, so I just stick with it now. It's like my signature.
Yep, that's your signature. You've got to do that. That is hilarious. I got to sample that. So when somebody getting on my nerves, I'm going to just click it. Bye.
Well, that was Lanardo Tyner. As I said, we're joined by our next guest here. Fabulous lady boxer, just recently captured the WBC Diamond Championship. So we're going to welcome to the show right now Ava Knight. Ava, welcome to the Jeff Mayweather Radio Show. You're on with myself, Jeff Mayweather, and Carla J.
Hey, thanks for having me. Hey, Ava,
thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
Well, that time. Hey, guys.
Well, thanks for joining us. I know Jeff was kind of a little hesitant to bring you on the show because last week you caused him to have an accident, and he was a little aggravated. But I calmed him down, and we got you on the show. So appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, actually, last week we had Ava wasn't able to join us. We had to cancel the show last minute as Jeff got a little fender bender here, and unfortunately we couldn't go on the show. So we got past that, and thanks for joining us this week. First of all, congratulations on your victory a couple weeks ago against Barbie there. A great win for you, and congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. Big one for me.
So let me ask you about this. You're going against a fighter who basically had more consecutive title defenses than you have fights. Going in, were you a little nervous going in against someone that experienced?
Personally, no. I wasn't scared of the experience. I think I was more scared of the altitude than anything. Because I already knew inside that I had this fight won. I felt that I was the better fighter. She's great. She was a great champion for a long time, but I knew that I had what it took. I was younger and stronger and faster. you know, I was just determined.
Yeah. So how did the altitude affect you during the fight, you know, if at all, and how did you train for it going in? Did you go to Big Bear or anything like that?
Yeah, you know, the altitude affected me probably in the 6th, 7th round. You know, honestly, I don't think you can get used to altitude unless you stick with it for about a month. And we were up in Big Bear for about 2 weeks, you know. It was fortunate Mosley let us train up there, and we got some good sparring with, you know, Kalisha West and Becky Garcia. And then going up and down from there, I had to go home and then go to Mexico City for a press conference, and then back to the Bay Area, and then back to Mexico City. So we were sort of up and down, and I didn't get to keep the high altitude straight. But even that little bit just, you know, helped me out. I was able to keep everything going till the 6th round, and even with a little bit of that tough breathing and that muscle burn, I would still be able to pull everything out.
Right. And so, Jeff, let me bring you in here on that. You have any experience as far as training fighters for the high altitude, and what's normally your strategy going into a fight like that?
Well, I mean, basically, the altitude really only stays in your body probably about, at the most, 7 days. So if she came down before the 7 days, to be honest, it didn't help her at all being up in Big Bear.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, it definitely, if you come down, like maybe 5 days, around about 5 days, you're good. 5 days, the more days you stay up there, closer to coming down, then it's like it's phenomenal. I mean, you'll be able to go, you know, if she was fighting 10 rounds, she can fight 20 rounds. I mean, I've been in Big Bear quite a few times, trained up there a lot of times, and when you come down, you know, the altitude is in your body, and when you come down to a lower altitude, I mean, it's almost like you're like superhuman. But it only lasts in your body 5 to 7 days. And so I don't know, like I said, I don't know when she came down, so that's probably why, you know, it didn't fit in the body for nothing but 6 rounds.
Okay. A little off topic, but what's the advantage of someone like Miguel Cotto going and training up there right now for his fight in New York City? Just because, you know, does it help your endurance even if you're not fighting at a higher altitude?
No, it's gonna help him a great deal if he goes up, because I mean, New York is probably, you know, just above sea level. And I mean, you go in the Big Bear, you know, I think the altitude is like 5,000 to 6,000 feet. I'm not really sure exactly what it is, but I know that it's really high. And when you come down, like I said, I mean, your energy is, I mean, it's like, it's amazing. You're like a superhuman. Right?
So, Ava, let me ask you this. You know, you're in Mexico City. It's her country. She's coming off of 2 split decision victories. You didn't get the knockout. You go to decision. Were you a little bit worried, you know, before they made that decision that you might have been on the wrong end of that due to a little hometown cooking?
Well, you know, I think every fighter knows in a fight whether they lost or not. And, you know, after that fight was done, I knew I had lost the fight. And the worst thing that I felt that could happen is they give her a draw. And I just couldn't see it happening. And you know, we had our promoter on the side, but we had 2 other promoters against us. And it was really hard for me to think that they were going to be fair. But, you know, at the end of the day, they were fair. You know, that one of them had 7-3 and one had it 6-4, and I had it 9-1. But you know, it felt right. You know, they gave me the right answer. The right answer. They gave me the right judges.
But you know, as Jeff, you know, with Celestino is well aware. You know, being in the opponent's hometown, sometimes fair doesn't always matter. If you don't get the knockout, sometimes you're on the wrong end of that, just because for some reason they think if you're in the hometown, they deserve the decision. So.
Yeah, you know, it was really hard, and I really did try and knock her out, but she's really tough, and, you know, that's why she's been a champion for so long.
Right. Now let me ask you this question. This is kind of interesting as I was, you know, going over your stuff here. You've had so few fights, you know, 13 professional fights. Yet, unlike most people who, kind of start off, the talented fighters who are supposed to be somebody, they're patting their records, fighting a bunch of cans right away, and not really fighting anybody of note. You've done the exact opposite. You fought Kalisha West 2 times, Ana Maria Torres, Susana Vasquez. Just in 14 fights, you fought a ton of former world champions and potential Hall of Famers. Was that something that you set out to do? And if so, why was that your strategy?
When we first decided to turn pro, it was because we weren't getting enough fights. And, my former trainer and I had realized that, I was already good enough to be up there. I had watched the girls that I had been fighting, the ones that were already on TV or had their fights on the internet. So when we came into the game, we said, we're just going to take the fight. And that's exactly what we did. I kept up really fast. And, it was difficult, but, at the same time, it taught me a lot. And, not being able to be a prospect because I was a woman, I wasn't fortunate enough to have fights handed to me. So I feel that, even with my record, it just shows what kind of fighter I am.
Jeff, have you ever seen anybody, or can you think of anybody offhand? I believe, and I could be wrong here, Ava, but you fought six former champions, right, in your first 14 fights. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Jeff, have you ever seen another fighter that's fought so much top quality competition right away and early in their career?
The only person I can even think of that done something like that was probably my brother Roger. I mean, of course, he wasn't fighting world champion, but, he fought his very first fight. His pro debut was an 8-rounder, and he fought a guy with 19 fights. And then after that, of course, he fought even bigger names. But, other than him, no, I didn't see nothing even close to it.
Yeah. So Ava, you went in this fight, even though you had fought tough competition, you were still considered the underdog based because of the experience thing. And even still, you get a lot of but. Ava's great, but she doesn't have the experience, but she hasn't been around, but she's still young. Do you think that this victory, like I said, going down to Mexico City, beating her in her backyard, do you think that's going to give you a little more respect than maybe some people that haven't given it to you up until this point?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to give me a lot of respect. A lot of people will tell you if you beat someone with that kind of score in their own hometown in a different country, you had to have beat them fair and square. So, and the one thing I realized, in Mexico, they love their fighters, and they'll boo you if they don't think you won, or even if they thought it was a close fight. And I didn't hear any boos after that fight, so I got my respect for Mexico for fighting Mariana, and it's unfortunate that the United States didn't get to see it. That should have been on HBO, but hopefully I'm gaining my respect in the United States as a great woman fighter.
So Jeff, I'm going to put you on the spot here with a little trivia. She captured the WBC Diamond Belt. Can you explain to the people what the Diamond Belt is?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you're the only Jeff, I think.
I have no idea what the Diamond Belt is. I know that Floyd won it also, but I have no idea what it is.
All right, well, yeah, you'd mentioned Floyd. Ava, you're in extremely select company. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Hopkins, Sergio Martinez, Nonito Donaire, and Ana Maria Torres are the only other ones that have won the Diamond Belt. So go ahead for those like Jeff and myself that aren't quite sure what the Diamond Belt is. Explain that, how it's given out, and why.
Well, from what I've read about it, the Diamond Belt is the contest between the best of the best. You only win it once. I don't know how, if they're going to give it out again, maybe in a different era. But I guess it just means you're the best of the best in the weight class in the time period. So, that's the best I could put it.
Well, certainly, considering who's held it before, obviously it shows, it's not given out lightly. But it does, it does seem kind of strange as far as, the confusion with the belts. I guess so. The WBC regular title, which she held, is now vacant, but yet you can still keep your IBF belt, correct?
Yeah, with her losing the fight, she lost her world title belt, but I hear that she's fighting for it again. But we had a little feud before the fight with the WBC and the IBF. They didn't want to unify. And, I wanted to respect the IBF for everything they've done, and I've been fighting for them for the past year. So, we decided that we were going to stay with the IBF, and I think that's the reason why we didn't put the world title on the line.
Okay. Well, explain, who's next for you. A lot of talk about Melissa McMorrow, which would be nice. You guys could fight, little hometown there, Northern California thing. Is she something that you have your eye on? Obviously you two fight. That would basically, create a dominant fighter in the weight class. She holds the WBA, WBO, WIBF titles. So basically, the winner of that would be the king of the division. Is that someone that you're looking at as possibly next, or do you have someone else in mind, or do you not really know at this point?
Well, I don't really know what's coming next right now. Right now, I'm at the top of the food chain, so I feel like she should be trying to see what she can get out of me. And right now, I don't feel her as a threat. I know she's a great champion and she's doing a great job right now. But seeing her in the amateurs and knowing where she's at and what she's doing, she's going to be a great fight. But I see other competitors ranked a little higher than her. She beat the German girl, which, at that time I was hoping that I was going to be able to go down there and knock her out. But, she was fortunate to do that. But, I hope Melissa keeps winning so we can make that big fight happen. And, and we can bring it to the United States because I'm pretty sure me and her could put on a great show.
She's got a little bit of confidence to her, Jeff. She kind of reminds me of your nephew a little bit.
No, nothing wrong with that.
I always try and keep it like, I really don't try and be cocky. I feel like that's a real bad trait. I don't have pride in what I do. I love what I do, and I'm confident in what I do, and I think that's what separates me from a lot of different other fighters.
Well, it's certainly impressive. Like I said, in 14 fights, you fought basically the top of the food chain already. A lot of people have you considered, number 3 pound for pound. I saw a little thing on your Facebook wall. They have you number 5 pound for pound in Northern California behind some guy boxers there, and that's got to be pretty cool for you that people are starting to take notice, and at such a young age to accomplish so much already. It's got to be hard not to toot your horn a little bit because you've accomplished so much.
Yeah.
So the other thing, you see some people. I know Mia St. John's done it once. Jessica Rakoczy's done a little bit. MMA, is that something you ever thought about? It really seems to be hot with the women right now. Is that something you would ever consider in the future trying at some point?
I have a little story, I guess. I'm really not an MMA fan. I really do support all the women that are doing it, like Jessica Rakoczy. I actually watched that last fight, and I'm just going to, tell the story of it. We turned it on. Everybody made a big deal about it, and they were coming on TV, and I think the 2 fights before weren't all that, but, I think one ended up tapping out, and one got knocked out. But I watched that fight, and the girl she was going in with, and I think it lasted about 20 seconds or so. And the girl got an armbar, and you know how you just watch a boxing fight and someone gets knocked out and you're like, oh. I watched that fight with her, and once she got that armbar and the girl tapped out, I was almost like, that's it? And the reaction to me was just so different, and I respect them. It's a totally different sport, but I just couldn't see myself doing that.
Well, I think Jeff's working with some MMA guys, but I think he kind of shares your sentiment. He's getting a little warmer to this sport, but I know he prefers the knockout to a rear naked choke or an armbar, right, Jeff?
Yes, I like the sidebar.
The sidebar?
or the tripod.
Yeah, so you can see where fighters like Roy Nelson and King Mo get all their talent from working with Jeff. So the name Ava, you said you're not too interested in MMA going forward. What do you think that the future of women's boxing is? I mean, the one, it had a run for a while when you had Layla Ali and Christy Martin and that kind of thing. Then it kind of disappeared for a long time. However, I do see a lot of buzz starting to build, and especially around people like you, young, attractive fighters that are really making their marks. And what do you think the future of female boxing is, and do you see it having another push?
I think it's going to get better and better as time goes. I think right now it's still going to stay where it's at. I don't feel promoters feel that there's money in it yet. Even with Clarissa Shields winning, she's still not turning pro, so, that doesn't help the professionals out one bit. Because I guess, the eye has been on the amateurs since the Olympics, which is great. That's where we all start out. But, seeing that only one woman was able to do it and none of the men were able to, I think it's turning heads away from boxing in America. But,
yeah.
As being a champion right now, it's just sad to see that, seeing such a great young woman win the Olympics and then have no professionals that have been doing it for so long, since Layla Ali left and just blew the torch and women just went downhill to see it come up, and nobody throw a bone to the women who are champions now that have been doing a great job. It's just hard for me to swallow, and that's why I've been fighting in Mexico so much, because they actually care about boxing, but it's hard to see that the United States hasn't stepped up yet.
Right. Yeah, not only Clarissa Shields, like you mentioned, but also, she didn't win, but Marlon Esparza, who got, quite a bit of mainstream publicity, also she didn't go pro, so, yeah, that definitely probably hurts the sport as far as, not getting the mainstream media, focusing on them and therefore on the sport as a whole of professional fighting.
Yeah.
So, maybe you're the person to bring it to them. Like I said, you seem to have a lot of personality. You're obviously incredibly talented. So, like anything, it always needs to be a good rivalry. So maybe we can find someone for you to, have some good fights with and pique the interest. So do you find in general that it's mostly American, and that when you go out of the country that women's boxing is more appreciated?
Yeah, going to Mexico, you think it'd be like going to a foreign country, but it's like when women go over there who fight, it's like they just love us. They treat us as good as the men, or even better. We put on great fights. But, we might only do 2 minutes, but we go out there and throw blows for 2 minutes, and that's what they like to see. And we get our respect there. And coming back to the United States, it's like we get thrown under the bus. Not that I don't like, I like that nobody knows who I am when I go somewhere. I can't take that for granted yet, but, but just getting our respect as fighters. We've got all these people who are getting named pound for pound and getting in Ring magazine. But, who are they mentioning in the women? They're still only calling out the names that were 10 years ago, and they don't know who the women coming up right now are.
Right. Jeff, we were able to talk about this a little bit a couple months ago when we had Maureen Shea on, but what, if anything, do you think that women's boxing can do as far as sparking interest in the American public?
Well, they're on the right track by even having women in the Olympics. And I think that's going to be, unless you have another famous name coming to the women's sport of boxing, women's boxing is going to be what it is. Because women's boxing to America is just like women's basketball. It's not, people are not going to go, gung-ho and go spend a lot of money watching women fighting. They're not going to do it. So it's one of those situations in which, through the Olympics, people will get a chance to understand that women are just as talented as men. And then once that happens, and once you get an Olympian that, like you said, whoever won the Olympics, if they're not turning pro, that's hurting women's boxing. But the one thing is that's that's going to be the driving force of women's boxing, because they're going to be able to see that women from America, women from wherever, they can actually fight. So until that happens, women's boxing is it's not going to flourish in the U.S.
Right. You don't have any illegitimate daughters running around out there with the Mayweather last name, do you, Jeff?
No, I ain't got no daughters. No daughters, no sons, no nothing.
Yeah, where's the little Mayweather I can call out, you know? You guys get your daughter I can call out so I can make some money.
None of them decided to box.
Hey, Ava, another thing I was interested in, you know, a lot was made about you and Barbie, the appearances. I mean, does that bother you at all when some people focus more on your appearance and whether or not you look good as opposed to your talent? Because, I mean, you know, some people that do turn in, from a guy's standpoint, do just tune in, you know, based on the looks.
Well, you know, if getting pretty is going to get people to watch me fight, you know, I can't hate on that. You know, Barbie was naked in Playboy, so that was her view, you know. Who wouldn't want to see a girl naked fight, you know, in a ring? So, I mean, I would never go that far, but, you know, if I have a pretty face and that's going to get people to watch me and respect me as a fighter, there's nothing wrong with that because I don't want to be ugly. So, you know, I can't help it.
Well, you don't have to worry about me and Jeff. You know, we have no choice. But yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that. And then, what's that?
No, what I was going to say is that the days of women looking like men in boxing is not. Nobody cares about that anymore. The kind of the woman like Ava, that's what. At least that's going to get the fans to tune in. And, you know, and actually not only that, I mean, then that's when the women can get, you know, even get some endorsement deals because no one cares about the dyke. That's, you know, the woman that looks like a dude coming into the ring. Nobody cares about that anymore. So, I mean, right now, this is what women's boxing has to be. It has to. The women have to look good. Well, anybody doesn't want to see them. Nobody cares about the guy beating up the woman that looks good. Nobody cares about that anymore. So she's going, you know, basically where she's at right now is where boxing is headed.
Well, you know, it's kind of a tough thing because, you know, on the one hand, you know, you look at someone like Layla Ali because of her looks and obviously her talent and her name, but, you know, she was able to become so much more than just a boxer. And like you said, you know, it's you know, people want to look at some of the things.
Don't get me wrong. Of course, everybody was just waiting for her to be successful because of her name. You know, don't get me wrong, she lived up to it, and she carried the torch great. She carried the name great. But what I'm saying is that the reason why women's boxing became big because you had Joe Frazier's daughter, you had Roberto Duran's daughter, you had Archie Moore's daughter, you had so many names of great fighters that actually all these women were fighting at the same time. So it's now all of a sudden, and you finally make the biggest fight you possibly can in name value, you know, Layla Ali against Frazier's daughter. I forgot her name, but, you know, you make that fight. That's the biggest fight that could even happen in women's boxing. You know, and don't get me wrong, I mean, of course, Layla was a great fighter. You know, I mean, I take my hat off to her because she was a woman that had no boxing experience at all.
But the women today are way better than you know, I think the women were at that time. And even where Layla Ali was, there's a lot of women right now that are way better than she is.
I mean, don't get me wrong, and that may be true, but that woman ain't never going to see the money that Layla Ali made.
Yeah, so, you know, we all weren't blessed with that name.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I was saying. I wasn't saying that there aren't women that are better. I was just saying that, you know, because of her name, all she had to do was carry the torch.
Yeah.
You know, that's even just like my nephew. I mean, the name was way established long before he even came along, but he had to carry the torch. And once he carried the torch, you know, of course, now all of a sudden, you know, the spotlight is on you, and you know, you prove yourself. You know, and that's what happened with Layla. I mean, you know, she proved herself, and she actually walked away from the sport, and because she was already in Ali, and of course the help that she was attractive, that she got many endorsement deals right after that. You know, and that's something that maybe even you can get. You know, you're a very attractive young woman, so I mean, maybe at some point in time in your career, I mean, you may start getting endorsements, and that's where probably a lot of your money will come from rather than from boxing.
Yeah.
What are you, Jeff? Are you in a bowling alley or something?
Hey, man.
You.
Carla.
Is that Carla? Carla, is that you?
He's on mute.
What? No.
Carla's on mute.
My phone was on mute.
No. So anyway, yeah. I'm going to bring you in here in a second, Carl. Cause, yeah, the last thing I want to say about that, Ava, is just, whether it's enforced or not, yeah, it does seem like ultimately, the endorsement money and the big bucks fighting does come, not only from the talent but from the appearance as well. So, like I said, people like Layla Ali and that kind of thing, and in MMA, you have the Gina Carano's and that kind of thing. So ultimately, they do go hand in hand, but it doesn't hurt when you have your talent, and that can take you to the next level.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, Carla, so you've been on there, not on mute for so long. Do you want to jump in here and ask something?
Oh, I can double dutch in there now. Hey, how's it going, Ava?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I have a question because I heard you earlier saying that you doing more boxing in Mexico than you are the States because, they have a little more enthusiasm about the sport. We'll put it that way. Is it more lucrative with you doing, more fights over there in Mexico than it is in the States?
What do you mean?
Do you pay more?
Yeah, do you get paid more? Yeah, in Mexico because the people are definitely more supportive than they are in the States. How does it fare for you?
In the States, I was getting paid garbage, and now that I have a great promoter in Mexico. And even in Mexican, pesos, I'm still getting paid. I'm getting paid great now. I'm not making what I should be, but I'm getting paid enough to feed myself and be comfortable and pay my bills. So to me, that's all I need.
Mhm. And are you doing anything? Where do you see yourself in, or how long? What about longevity? Where do you see your career in the next 5 years or so?
Well, boxing right now to me is number one. I quit everything. I even went kind of homeless for a little while trying to box because I felt like this is what I wanted to do. I couldn't be like the other women who were working and trying to box at the same time. So, I think this next 5 years, maybe up to maybe 6 or 7, I'm just going to work hard to stay number one and just try and make a point to people in the United States that women can fight. That's my main goal.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said earlier that you kick ass. We know that. We see that. Now, I want to talk about your preparation for your fights. Do you spar with other females? Because there's not very many females that you can pretty much get in the gym with at any given time. Do you spar with females or males?
This fight was actually the first time I ever sparred some females before a fight. But when we hit Mexico 10 days before the fight, I was sparring a man, and I mostly that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And sparring men is just I think that's what all of us women have to do, is because there's not a lot of women, like you said, there's not a lot of us to go around, so we just have to find some amateur. Like right now, I've got my coach's son, and he's a great amateur, and I realize right now I might be beating him up, but once he turns that 18. He's going to be beating me up, so it's just like something all of us women have to go through when we find sparring partners.
I'm sure I'm sure a 17-year-old boy is has other people he'd rather get beat or not rather get beaten up than by Ava Knight, so I'm sure he's okay with that. But I'm sure and the reason Jeff was defensive with Layla Ali earlier is because he used to get beat up by Layla. They used to spar together a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm sparring, the guys my size, once they hit that age where they hit that manpower, it's like I almost have to stop because, they start to hurt me. You really can't compare a woman to a man when you're in the same weight.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeff, have you ever, I'm not sure, have you ever trained a woman, and how would you feel like training someone like Ava? I mean, you said she basically went homeless to be a boxer. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, showing that she had the drive and the dedication to do it. So have you ever trained a female boxer before, and how would you like to work with someone like her if the opportunity ever presented itself?
Yeah, I mean, I trained Jessica with Kobe. I trained Jessica for the first 3 years of her career. I trained I train Larissa Rivas. So, I mean, I've trained quite a few girls, you know. So, I mean, I trained, what's her name? Lashana. I forgot what's Lashana's last. I don't know her last name, but anyway, she only fought one professional fighter, I think. But no, I had no problem training women. I mean, to be honest, women are easier to train than men because men have a preconceived notion of knowing something and they don't. You know, women, you can basically turn them into what it is you're trying to do because they listen.
Did we lose you? All right. Yeah, so, I mean, Ava, it was, you know, it was great having you on the show. As far as, like, the social media and that kind of stuff, I know we don't want to go to avanight.com. I Google it. You don't want to go there, but as far as other stuff, that would not be the Ava Knight you guys would be looking for. Well, maybe it is, but not the Ava Knight that's on the phone now.
Case. Yeah.
As far as other things, where can the folks keep up with you on social media and that kind of thing?
You know, you can follow me on Twitter at Ava_Knight and Facebook.com/OfficialAvaKnight. And my website is officialavaknight.com. You know, I do it myself. It's a little behind in the news, so if you do go look at it, it will be maybe a fight behind. But, you know, that's where I'm at.
All right, and then just as far as, you know, your future goes, you know, I guess you don't have anything right now, but what are you looking for in the immediate future, and where can folks expect to see you in the near going?
You know, my hope is just to keep fighting the top girls. You know, when I run out of flyweight girls, I'm gonna move up and find the next weight class of girls. You know, just like my record from the beginning, I'm gonna keep them top class and make a name for myself.
Yeah. Carla, do you have anything else for Ava before we wrap up the show?
You know what? I do have another question for Ava because you've accomplished a lot, in your career thus far. But, you know, at what point, you know, during the course of your career did you feel like you finally, you know, kind of legitimized yourself as a fighter? Was it after you had, you know, was it any particular fight that you had, you know, completed, or at what point was it that you felt like you legitimized yourself?
You know, for myself, I always felt like I was going to be a great fighter. It's hard to say which fight it was. I think after I lost and I realized that I had fought 10 rounds hurt and not training for 2 weeks and still did my 10 rounds, and I thought that the cards were off. But I actually, after losing, I think that's when I legitimized myself because I realized that even with all that I had done or hadn't done for that fight, I still made it through. And she, you know, Ana Maria is top of the class, and she's going in the books for the Hall of Fame or in the WBC. So, you know, fighting someone like that and still coming out feeling like a winner, that's when it was.
Right on. Good. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us. I mean, it was, you know, and giving us like really candid answers. I was actually going through your Twitter page and I saw the poster with Floyd Mayweather standing there, and you said, Floyd, I'm coming for you.
Well, everybody's calling out Floyd today, Jeff. We had Lanardo Tyner calling him out. Now we got Ava calling him out.
Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm coming, you know, everybody wants to call out Floyd to make that money, and so that's why I did it. I'm calling Floyd out right now. I want my 12 rounds.
Wait, no, for that paycheck, I'll call him out right now, too. I promise I'll give everything I have for the 5 seconds the fight lasts, and I'll be happy to collect my paycheck. So, yeah, Ava, anything else you want to add to the folks, you know, listening to your fans?
You know, I just want to say hi and thank you to all the fans that follow female boxing and know who I am and have looked me up. You know, and give a shout out to my trainer, Ben Batista, and Kareem Mayfield, who just won on HBO out of the same gym. You know, and my promoter, Hector Garcia, for doing a great job with my career right now.
And actually, I think Kareem was on our ATG radio yesterday with our our sister show there with Frank Stea yesterday. So, yeah, we really appreciate you joining us, and anything we can do to support you. Big fan of yours, and we'd love to have you back on the show before or after your next victory, and we'll be sure to do plenty on the site for you, and keep the people aware of who you are and build your name up the best we can.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, you take care, Ava, and thanks so much for joining us. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right.
All right, thanks. All right, so that was Ava Knight. Like I said, she a little bit of shades of Floyd there with the confidence. Was always great to see. Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to let you dismiss her. I screwed up.
I'm going to dismiss you.
What's that?
I'm going to dismiss you.
I think Jeff's been dipping into the bag there. All right, yeah, so it was great show tonight. Lanardo Tyner and Ava Knight, both great guests. Both had a lot to say. Love to get both of them back again. Again, our sympathies go out to the friends and family of Emanuel Steward. A really tough loss for the boxing world in the last week. Great show tonight. Carla, as far as, following you, where can the folks keep up with you?
Definitely follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Both are the same, The Real Carla J, and that's Carla with the C, J-A, and also on Facebook at Carla J.
Jeff, how about you? Where can the folks keep up with you?
Freaking Alex.
What did you do today?
Goodweed.com.
You probably smoking that weed when you got in a car accident last week, probably. The good thing you didn't drug test you, huh? No, Jeff. Jeff's on Twitter at.
Yeah.
What?
You know that one. Go ahead, tell him.
That's sad, Jeff. You can follow Jeff on at Jeff Mayweather 1 on Twitter, and of course Jeff Mayweather on Facebook, and like the boxing page, Jeff Mayweather's Pro Boxing Insider, and also Pro MMA Insider on Facebook, both those, and check them out. Anything else, guys? Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up the show? I think Jeff's probably missing a X Factor or whatever, so he's probably ready to go. So anything else?
No, I'm watching Hardcore Porn.
Was that pawn or porn? Was that an A or an O?
That's his Texas accent coming out. It's
porn might be better, but I'm watching porn right now.
I'm gonna see if we can get Seth on the show, Jeff, for you.
Ooh.
Seth Gold.
Seth who?
Well, you obviously not a big fan of the show if you don't know who Seth is.
Yeah,
that's the son.
I do. That's the son. That's the son. Yeah, I know. I know everybody on there.
All right.
I like this show. I watch it every week. Every day. I mean, I'm on about three times a week.
Ed. All right, guys. Anything else you want to add before we go?
No, that's it. I want Jeff to send us off.
All right. We'll finish up. Go ahead, Jeff. Send the show away.
Bye. One more time. Bye.